Hey, what's up, YouTube and my cardboard fans? It's your boy, Retro Hero, and today I have a special episode for you. For the first time, my YouTube premiere, over 3 years on YouTube, I'm going to show you a piece of my personal collection. It is not Garbage Pail Kids. It is not non-sport. A little hint in the background. This has been a passion of mine for over 4 decades, and I'm going to share it with you today. I'm a little apprehensive, a little excited. It's been a long time since I've actually looked at these cards. I hope you guys enjoy. So why don't you sit back, relax, and let's have some fun. Hi and welcome back. Before we get started into looking at my 4-decade plus PC personal collection, I wanted to give you guys just a minute or two backstory on why this is so important to me and why you haven't seen it in my 3 years of doing YouTube videos. The picture you see before you is me as a teenager and my father. My father, who was an avid stamp collector his whole entire life. He went into the military and would be stationed in Switzerland and Germany and Korea. He would collect stamps from around the world, and as a very young boy in the mid to late 70s, he would teach me about stamp collecting. Now, I was never really into collecting stamps, but I remember clearly in late 1979, my father came home with a few packs of Topps baseball cards. We would open the packs. I, of course, loved the gum. I was very young, and he would talk about some of the stars that we received in the packs, or he would talk about the recent baseball game that we watched, and here was a player from that team. He'd flip it over and show me how to read the stats and what they all meant. My father, truly my hero and my mentor. He got me started into collecting some baseball cards. Now, that was just a few packs in 1979. I remember clearly in 1980, he came with a whole wax box of baseball cards. And as a young kid who played t-ball, baseball, soccer, I was always outside with my friends playing sports. It was awesome. All these unique player cards and all that gum. More importantly, I could chew gum until my heart's content. But he had a conversation with me. He said, listen, if you're going to collect these, you need to do it right. Here's how you should collect them. And there wasn't a lot of storage options or 9-pocket binders or penny sleeves or hard plastic sleeves. In fact, I don't even remember a price guide, maybe until 1984. And at that time, it was a big, thick price guide. I think it was called like the Baseball Almanac, but I'm not sure. But he would talk to me about how to keep them in good condition. We stored them in a shoebox back then. But more importantly, he said, you need to pick a player, you need to pick a team, someone that you collect. Now, I was a third baseman. I've been to Minnesota games, Kansas City, Missouri games, St. Louis games, Chicago games, a lot around the Midwest. But the player that stuck out in my mind that my father was so favorable for was Michael Schmidt of the Philadelphia Phillies. My father liked him. My father actually met him on a business trip through his insurance agency and was just really impressed. They had Mike Schmidt as a speaker in Philadelphia for his insurance agency. Well, it was the whole company in general. But my father always said he was a class act, a humble guy. And, in the late 70s and early 80s, Mike Schmidt was a great baseball player. He had multiple Golden Gloves and a great average. So, because my father, my hero, my mentor, told me that he loved Mike Schmidt, of course, right away, I loved Mike Schmidt. So, what you're going to see is a time capsule of my father and myself collecting these baseball cards since 1979. Almost every card that you will see has either been pulled from a pack of baseball cards or a set that my father's either purchased or I've either purchased or I have traded with other people throughout many, many years to get these cards. In addition, there are a few cards that I will point out that maybe I have either bought them in the wild or a very, very few select cards that I purchased off of eBay. This is truly a lifetime collection. You folks out there in YouTube land that watch this, that have interest in this, this is my PC. Less than 5 people have ever seen this, and most of them are family. So again, I'm excited and I'm nervous to share this with you. I am not an avid collector of sports cards today. I do have a collection of sports cards. It is 50s, 60s, and 70s, and very early 80s. But this collection, although it is not complete, someone tell me I'm wrong, might be the most Mike Schmidt cards in a single collection. I don't know. This isn't about clout. If it's not, it's not. But this has been my lifelong passion. I truly hope you guys enjoy this. Hi, and welcome back. I had to take a quick break. I tell you, I get emotional talking about my dad and the mentorship and everything that my father has done for me to be successful in life today. I'm almost at a loss for words. So this is truly a tribute to him. I miss him, and I truly hope you guys enjoy a look into my personal collection today. A big shout out again to my wife and both of my sons. They allowed their dad to have a basement full of nostalgia, and I am a nostalgia memory driven collector. The good times I had with my family, the good times I've had with both of my boys and my wife, just picking things up, my mother included. To walk down here in the basement, this is truly why I collect what I collect. I realize it has monetary value, but the monetary value to me is the nostalgia, the instant feel good of walking down here and looking at what I have. So enough with that. Let's jump into just back here. I've got a Sports Illustrated. Let's see if I can't. There we go. A Sports Illustrated. It's got George Brett, who I am a Royals fan, and George Brett again. A childhood hero. I have met George Brett probably a handful of times. I do have a few autographs. He's done some local card shows. I live in Nebraska. Casey is just a few hours away. And of course, my childhood idol for a baseball player, MVP Mike Schmidt, MVP George Brett. It is a Sports Illustrated. It was given to my father from one of my father's insurance through his business, and I have saved it to this day. It's I've read it so many times. It is not in a mint condition, but something I would never trade. And this over here is a book by Jason Stark. It is Mike Schmidt, the Phillies legendary slugger. Rob Maddie. I've read the book. My wife picked this up for me recently. It is a great read and really paints Mike Schmidt as who he is, which is a class act, a great steward, representative of Major League Baseball, and of course my picture of my father and I in the corner there. Okay, I'm gonna flip the camera. Hopefully this will be how I show this today. I do have just a few binders, so let's move some stuff out of the way, and I'm gonna open this up. And first peek of my personal collection, over 40 years in the making. I will talk about a few of these cards. We will start first with this, the 1973 rookies, third baseman Ron C., John Hilton, and Mike Schmidt. Uh, I mentioned before my dad passed away in 2017. I never owned this card until 2017. I remember looking at it as a kid with my dad in card stores, and I might be misremembering, but if I remember correctly, it was like $700 or $800 way back in the days when Mike Schmidt was still playing. And for a non-working preteen teenager, I'm talking 11, 12, 13 years old in the 80s, that was all the money in the world. And I always told my dad, someday I'm going to own this card. My dad's like, well, you got to save your money. And it was so hard saving money in the 80s because, video games were a thing. And I get $10 for mowing lawn and some money for chores and cleaning my dad's office. But I could never save that much money. And my father was truly about budget, and I'm so thankful he taught me those lessons today, and they do equate to me buying and collecting things nowadays. But he passed away, and out of his memory, I went and bought this locally at a card store. By the way, nothing you're going to see in here, with the exception of one card, is graded. And the one graded card, I actually broke the case open to put it in these 9 pocket holders. But here it is, the Mike Schmidt rookie card, 1973 tops. Right beside it, we've got some light glare, so maybe I'll just pick this up, is a 1974 Topps Baseball Mike Schmidt card. I remember trading for this card as a young man, so you could see every single corner, and the bottom has wear. That's probably how I got it. It was in a screw down container for 38 years. I traded for this very, very early on. A home run leaders, I believe that's 74 as well. Some of these were given to me from my dad's friends. A lot of these were traded from me, these early 70s. A 75 Mike Schmidt card, really nice condition. The home run leaders, you've got Dick Allen and Mike Schmidt. Mike Schmidt 76, 1977, right? And the leaders cards down here. Page 2, the 78 Mike Schmidt cards. This one I traded for. It's been faded. It's been handled by me. This one I picked up locally. 1979, the very first Mike Schmidt card I ever pulled is up here in the top corner, and as you can see, just in probably would grade a 3 or a 2. No creases, but every corner dinged. But that was the very first card out of the few packs that I pulled. And then I've either traded or purchased locally a couple 79s. Now we have the 1980s Mike Schmidt down here. These were all hand pulled by me, and none of them are in mint condition. The 81 Coca-Cola set Mike Schmidt card, I would have had to have traded for that. And then we're truly getting into my collecting days, 1980, 81. You can see by the number of cards that I would have. All Mike Schmidt, NL All-Star Mike Schmidt 1981 cards. Yeah, the record breakers. You've got Reggie Jackson there and Mike Schmidt on home run leaders in 1980. Uh, Topps Baseball Cards 81. 1982, Mike Schmidt All Star, Mike Schmidt in action. And of course, I have some of the leaders. 82 was a difficult set for me to put together. I remember only getting a box and then whatever packs. This is what you see is what I have hand pulled from that 82 collection. Some more home run leaders there. 83, Mike Schmidt. Probably, I was buying packs in 1983 with my own money. My father always bought a box of cards, and then anything I wanted to spend my money on through convenient marts or the pharmacy or Ben Franklin or Kmart, wherever I found packs of baseball cards is where I got that. I've got a O-Pee-Chee NL leader there as well at the bottom. Then we're getting into 1984. 84, I was buying more cards. So at the end of 1984 comes into 1985. Now, 1985 came around, and all of a sudden, sports cards were worth money. And this hobby became a business for my father and I. And this is how my dad showed me how to conduct business. We would buy cards, we would sell cards, we would do lots of local shows here in Omaha and surrounding areas. We would buy cases of Topps baseball, and then in the later 80s, we would include some Fleer, Donruss, Score, I believe, was a thing. I never really into to the Bowman cards, but so we would buy and put together team sets and put together sets of cards and sell the stars at local shows. But the reason I let you guys know that is you're going to see a large influx in cards starting in 1985. These were a later posting of the Schmidt cards. They're stamped Topps 35th anniversary. Now they're in penny sleeves in the binder, but you can kind of see the stamp there, and the backs look a little bit different. I believe they're 2020 or 2021. And these I would have had to have purchased off of eBay when I found them. Okay, so we're moving on to the next page. Lots and lots and lots of Schmidt. You're going to see some of the different color variations for the Phillies logos, some O-Pee-Chee, some Topps cards, the NL All-Star cards there. Lots, because in 85, we were buying cases. Now we get to 1986. 86, such a nostalgic card set for me. 86 is when I truly ran the business myself. I would have once a month garage sales. My dad handmade cases for me, lockable cases. I remember I'd go to a bubblegum machine in Kmart, and they had those locks you could get for 25 cents that you could probably open, but they fit perfectly on the display cases, so at least no one could open it at my garage sale when I was selling sports cards. And by the way, I have never sold or traded one single Mike Schmidt card. Every card I have saved in my collection, and now we're getting into some 8s and 9s, maybe a gem mint or two in here of some 85, 86, but 86 baseball, Mike Schmidt, so many. As I opened up everything, I never sold a Phillies set because it never had a Mike Schmidt baseball card in it, as you can tell. Wow. So nostalgic. 1987. I remember tearing open these packs looking for, Bo Jackson and Wally Joyner, all the great rookies, Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire, But I have them saved back there, but they're not in an album dedicated to Mike Schmidt. So many 1987 Mike Schmidt cards and All-Star cards. We can keep going on forever. And then we're getting into the 1988. The bottom here is one of the few bottoms of the baseball card boxes that had Mike Schmidt on it. By the way, as we're going through, and if you're a Phillies fan or you're a Mike Schmidt collector and you notice something I don't have, make sure you email me. It is in my About channel, and I am definitely a trader or a buyer for anything Mike Schmidt. But 1988, great pictures of Schmidt in 88. He's got his warm-up jersey on there. 1989 tops. I don't remember buying a lot of baseball cards after I think maybe 1990 or 91, probably 1990. But a lot of 89 Mike Schmidt cards. They should all be, at that time, they should be in mint condition or near mint condition, because they went right from a box into a penny sleeve into a storage box at that time. Kmart 20th anniversaries. Okay, so now we're done with tops, and we are moving on. These should be all Fleer, I believe, and then Donruss. So the early Fleer I would have had to trade for, because I don't remember getting any Fleer baseball cards until maybe 1983, when my father came home just out of the blue and bought these 3,500 count boxes full of Fleer Common and Stars, and we went through and sorted everything. So I either traded, or it was from a purchase of my father, until we get into probably 84, 85 Fleer. But Fleer triple threat, the heydays of the Philadelphia Phillies. You have Boa, Rose, and Schmidt. So you got the corners there. You got the catcher, the first base, and the third base. Great picture of Mike Schmidt there. Mike Schmidt holding his awards. Schmidt, Smith, and Carlton. Great pitcher, Steve Carlton. Some stickers in here. Some more Fleer. 1984 Fleer, the very first one I ever got. This one over here is in just rough condition. I remember trading Jim Frazier for this card because I didn't have it. I didn't have any 84 Fleer, and then I started buying some packs of 84 Fleer just for the Mike Schmidt cards. So 85 Fleer, Schmidt in action. 1986 Fleer, beautiful cards, and the stickers that go along with that. Baseball's Best Fleer sets. More Baseball's Best. 87 Fleer at the bottom. Mike Schmidt. I love 87 Fleer. I like the Topps wood grain because it reminds you of the 60s wood grain, but 87 with just the blue and the white borders, the red Fleer logo was really awesome. And the stickers and the record-setting cards that go with those. Some extra Baseball Best, Baseball All-Star Fleers. The limited edition, not so limited. 86, 87 Fleer, the All-Star League Leaders, Game Winners, the 88 Fleer. Do love, and still to this day love, tearing open some 88 Fleer. Those are all going to be pulled by me. The stickers. The All-Stars, they're not going to be all in order, because as I've found more ripping packs here, in the last 10 years, I'm just putting them in a binder. 89 Fleer, so I bought cases in 1989 of baseball cards to sell. There were some hot rookies that, 87, 88, 89 was... Everybody collected baseball cards, and when you refer to the junk wax era, I think those are really the years that qualify for that. But still, lots of color variations, a few print spot variations, but everything I've ever pulled is is in this binder. Fleer salutes a champion. Great card. I was so stoked when I pulled this card. I just thought it was awesome. The only thing that can maybe be a little bit better than this is the Upper Deck tribute cards that they did, and I do have some of those. You know, these should be 1990. No, they're 89 Fleer. That would be the Fleer Superstar. Then we're into Donruss. I love how Donruss had the numbers up here. A bunch of 81 Donruss and the MVPs. 82 Donruss, great picture there of Rose and Schmidt together for the Phillies' finest. 83 Donruss, love that in action. I do have a couple of these jerseys, of course, Mike Schmidt number on them. Not a lot of 84 Donruss. 84 Donruss expensive. I would have had to have traded for those. But 85 Donruss, I was buying packs at that time, so quite a number of Mike Schmidt 85 Donruss cards and Leaf. 86 Donruss, buying boxes at that time. Such a hard card to keep in great condition. 86, 87 Donruss. Any flaw will just show through. 86 highlights, a little easier. 87 Donruss, that notorious black border, and of course the traded set. I think these are maroon or red colored highlight cards. The 88 box and 88 standard Donruss. We were getting cases at that point. Junk wax era. 89 Donruss. Yeah, gosh, 1990. Really cool. 87 highlights here for score cards. A lot of score cards. Score came out and everyone is, Score Upper Deck. They were new and Score was really cheap, so I could afford it. So I have a bunch of those. Score, my only one Bowman card, I would have had to have traded someone for that. Upper Deck would have been pack pulled for me, the collector's card, and Mike Schmidt retires. Man, I love that card. A couple of Mike Schmidt Upper Deck cards for the later years. So that is my, I guess what you would call major set collection of Mike Schmidt. I am thinking I have, as far as I know, everything for those. Well, we'll just say as far as I know everything. I'm sure there is things that are missing. But in addition to that, I have a second album. Now I bought this album recently just to maybe protect them a little bit more. I found this card here recently, which is a Topps third baseman manufactured patch card. And I know I always say patch cards suck, but this one does not. I bought it for $10 at a local store. Gosh, it was not too long ago. These I bought on eBay. I didn't know anything about them. They're called Authentic Ink, and they have a penny in each card. And I just thought that they were awesome cards. So I've got a 1974 penny in 74. It says uncirculated 1972 cent, so it is a 72 penny in there. I just thought they were really cool. I'm sure they're not very valuable. These are going to be some maybe unique cards that are more difficult to find, or at least were for me. This is a plastic, almost like a credit card. I'm trying to think of where this came from. Loyal fan, so I'm a certified loyal fan of Mike Schmidt. Just really cool, like a early 80s credit card there. We have some die cut. My wife actually bought, I believe, this one recently for me when she got me the book for Mike Schmidt, and just a really nice looking Topps die cut card. I was kind of stoked to get that. Upper Deck Legends, Gypsy Queen there at the bottom. I don't know a lot about these new sets because I don't buy any modern baseball at all. Mike Schmidt's a Heritage Heritage again, old school colors. Mike Schmidt from Ohio. I thought those were awesome. Portraits 2003, really cool, man. Mike Schmidt looks like Burt Reynolds here doing an interdeck or an interview. Really cool. 2011 Goodwin Champions by Upper Deck, Mike Schmidt. Really cool. Gives us career totals on the bottom there. These are going to be all the weird cards, Gypsy Oak and Alan Ginter, anything that I have come across throughout the years, locally or at a card show. I have bought it, and I root through those, quarter bends or dollar bends, and that's where I'm finding these cards. Some are I have no idea of these values. You've got Mike Schmidt, Ernie Banks, and Frank Robinson for Baseball Heroes card there. I don't think I've ever looked up values of any of these cards. They are just mine in my personal collection. Yeah, so I can flip through here. I can't tell you a lot about them as I pulled a Mike Schmidt card or seen, a lot of 5, and I will say how much for all of them. Big Bang, you're of course in the holograph eras. I thought this one was really cool by Topps Archive series. Kind of a chrome card here, 1973 rookie third baseman. Thought that was pretty awesome. Found that at a local show. More chrome type cards. I've even saved the Topps giveaway for the codes because they had Mike Schmidt on them. These I bought years and years ago. The Kellogg's 3D Superstars, and then of course Kellogg's went full size in your boxes of cereal back then. The cards are yellowed because I've had them for eons. Sports Flick cards, I love Sports Flick cards. All Mike Schmidt. The classic best where he played in the early 70s for the Reading Phillies. Got a bunch of those cards. Thought those were cool way back in the days I was buying those. Some other classic cards you would get through the set. And then we're on the Ted Williams sets, all Mike Schmidt. I have the full set. If it says Mike Schmidt on the back, I've got the card. Love all these. These are absolutely awesome. I got a bunch of those. Of course, the 83 All-Star, 84 All-Star, 85 All-Star, you get these in the rack packs when you bought them way back in the days, 86, 87. They get more prevalent the more money I had as a younger teenager. I always bought the Kmart sets. I thought someday they'd be worth money. They're not even worth the paper they're printed on, but of course I saved all the Mike Schmidt cards from the Kmart sets, some off-brand sets, Topps 83 All-Stars, Woolworth, if you remember the department store, Quaker Chewy granola bars, you'd get that when you bought granola bars. Rite Aid, MVP, KB Toys, I bought the sets and broke them up for the Schmidt cards. M&M, Burger King, Meadow Gold Flour, Captain Crunch, Ralston Purina Company. We had a Ralston Purina Company in the town I lived in, and I would go down there. We didn't have an animal. And I would beg for baseball cards. I would seriously throw 20-pound bags of dog food from pallet to pallet for free, and they would pay me in baseball cards. And my dad just thought that was awesome. So I have so many of those. More Mike Schmidt. What are these? I don't even know. They're Topps cards. We've got Drake's big hitters. Drake big hitter cards. A lot of Drakes. Thought this was kind of neat, just a Topps card, 1973 rookies, third baseman. Got a bunch of those. I think I found those at a card show and was like, how much for all of them? They were like $1. We got the pop-out cards, of course. Those are cool. Now we're down to some mini cards. Mike Schmidt, and we're going to be in stickers, the early stickers for the albums that you could have way back in the days. But here they are, all Mike Schmidt, the rub-on tattoos. That is my whole Mike Schmidt collection. started in 1979 by my father, continued in the 80s and the 90s, in the early 2000s, up to a card I bought, you know, months ago. Just months ago, I picked up this patch card because it was something I didn't have. Um, yeah, wow, so nostalgic. I wonder if this video will make it to print. This is truly something that just is my collection, my childhood. What you've seen here has been my childhood of card collecting for years and years and years. I hope you guys enjoyed this, looking at my PC. Um, Someday I'll break out the 50s and the 60s baseball, 70s baseball collection that has just been saved throughout the years. My dad was so awesome at saving. Um, so let me just move this back. My only graded card is this, and it was a 5.5 by Beckett Grading Services, I believe. One of the very few purchases of a graded card, and I didn't want it in the holder. I just wanted it in the binder so I could flip through and be nostalgic. So what don't I have for Mike Schmidt? Occasionally I watch a lot of baseball card videos. I especially like the vintage, and I watch to see who has a Schmidt card. I know Criterium Racer had a rub-off card that I don't have, and recently I think I bought 8 or 10 packs of rub-offs hoping to get a Schmidt. I've got a couple boxes over there of the postage stamp holder cards. So I don't have one of those. I'm sure there's one in the box. If you know of something I don't have, leave it in the comments. Let me know. If you ever want to do some trade-in for Mike Schmidt card I don't have, let me know. You want to sell me one, please let me know. I would be happy to purchase those. Yeah, so that's my Mike Schmidt collection. So what am I missing? I'm missing an autograph. I have sent over the years, and I'm talking mid 80s to the 90s, probably no less than a dozen cards to the Cooperstown address, or a variety of addresses I've either been told or seen, to have Mike Schmidt sign something for me. Just a personal card, and I've never even received the card back or a signature. And he's at the age where Mike Schmidt talks about autographing in his book, and he'll do it for little kids, but he won't do it for adults, and it just hurts my heart, because this is a lifelong collection, and I don't want to buy an autograph. I don't want to buy a swatch of his uniform. I want him to sign a card for me. I'd love to shake his hand, and maybe that'll happen. Maybe it won't. Maybe I'll just have to go on eBay and buy an autograph card. But I haven't sent any cards now because I've never received anything back. But anyone out there knows Mike Schmidt, and you can have him sign a card for me, let me know. I'd love it to be personalized to me. That would be the best, not just an autograph. But yeah, I digress. That's it for the video. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed a look into my personal baseball card collection. I really enjoyed talking about this, and the video's gone on for over 30 minutes. So yeah, that's it. Love to my dad for starting me in this hobby, and everything that he's done for me through life, and everything he's taught me about card collecting, and supporting my garbage pail kid habits in 1985, and every other dumb thing that I've collected through the years, and just being there for me. I love you. Thank you so much. And know that this has been passed on to my kids with what they've been interested in, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. And never once did I ever say, hey, it's worth money. I just said, let's keep it in great condition. And both of those boys have kept everything they've ever opened. So, yeah, that's it. Really emotional. So, thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Please feel free, leave a comment. And thanks for watching my 40 years of collection. Take care. Talk to you again soon. Bye.